Femi, we're talking about the e-commerce marketing team structure. Where does one even start to organize an e-commerce marketing team? What's the first step?
So the structure of an e-commerce marketing team would depend on the owner of the company. If it's a small startup where someone just has like an idea about a product, firstly, are you selling the product that you created yourself, or are you a reseller of another product? Those kind of factors plays a role in your e-commerce marketing structure. So let's assume that you're a startup, you created your own product and you want to start marketing. Definitely, if you don't have a marketing background, you have two ways to go about it. You can either hire a marketing person in house, and the kind of marketing person you're going to hire is going to be T shaped skill. That person is going to have a detailed understanding of Google Ads, paid advertising, SEO. That person will be a digital marketing all rounder. It's hard to find people like that. So, the number two, the other option you have is to look for a small agency. What I've seen with most e-commerce, smaller e-commerce stores is they just hire a Google Ads agency that would just help them get traffic straight away. And most of the time, they make the mistake of not having the right agency, and that's a problem because then you start just spending money on paid advertising, and that eats into your margins. Yeah.
Okay, so for you then it's preferred to have a much broader skill set when you're working in an e-commerce team rather than being very, very specialist.
Yes, because it, the question then goes back to how did you set up your store and who was involved in the store. So predominantly you just hire, like, if let's use Shopify for example, you hire a Shopify agency, they help you build out the store and everything. In most instances, there's all Shopify by default has a good uh, website layout and things like that. Some of the important conversion layouts is by default, but it's a template. It's not tailored for what you're trying to sell. So you need to have someone with a strong understanding of your product and to help you kind of build that content on your landing pages. That content needs to align with the Google Ads or where the traffic acquisition is coming from. So, from a skill set standpoint, you need someone with a detailed understanding of conversion rate optimization, user experience, and content. Agencies that build out your Shopify store are designers by default. So, they'll design a pretty website, but it's actually the content that converts. So those are the kind of skills that you need to look at. From a content standpoint, you need someone that can help you create good visual content. There's also that also needs conversion optimization lens when you're creating those contents. It's not just getting a photographer to just point and shoot photos, because that photo would not communicate product benefit, features, and value that you need for conversion, because ideally your product on your landing page should be able to communicate to people to convert straight away. And then another content element is video, which is always not done with very much detailed intent. So those activities I'm mentioning are the skills you need. You can't just go all out and hire multiple people, because again, that will eat into your profit margin. So you need to be strategic and intentional about the kind of agency that you hire, which is why I always mentioned about T-shaped marketing skill. You also need to hire like a T-shaped agency. What a T-shaped agency would be in that context would it be an agency that have the skills for acquisition, paid advertising, they have the skill for conversion rate optimization, they have the skill for UX, they have the skill for email marketing, they have the skill for content production. So those are the kind of people you need to work with as a shop owner, a Shopify store owner, because you cannot find someone with all the skills you need to work in-house for you. And even if you do, you need multiple people, and that would ramp up the cost for you.
So that was my next question: was how much does that skill set then cost? Like, what's the minimum that you could get away with?
Yeah, because if you're looking for paid search managers or paid search specialists, you'll be looking about 40, 45 grand for someone that have decent skill. And then on top of that, you need someone that understands conversion rate optimization as well. You'd be looking at about 44 to 45 for that mid-level skill. And then you need for someone, SEO would be about 45 grand as well. So when you start adding all these numbers together, then it becomes more cost effective to work with an agency because you can have those expertise offered to you. They will help you, and then the cost won't be as much as putting together a team, because obviously if things don't work out, god forbid, you still do not have a lot of you've not lost a lot because you're working with an agency. You have a break clause or a termination clause that will save you eventually. It's a different scenario when you just go all out and hire different individuals. But again, it depends on your budget as well and the scale of your e-commerce store. If your scale is really massive, I'll still recommend to kind of start slow with an agency and start then building your in-house team as time goes on, as your profit and your revenue grows. Yeah.
Is there any specialist training that you would recommend for e-commerce teams? Anything that stands out at the moment?
Ideally, for an e-commerce store, as an e-commerce owner, you really, really want to understand how Google Ads, paid search in general across Meta, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all those platforms, you really want to have an understanding of it. You might not necessarily be the person implementing it. The reason why I say for every business owner, e-commerce store owner, or even commercial director or sales director, you need to know enough to be dangerous, because there are a lot of cowboys out there that are just gonna pull the wool over your face and just ramp up your expenses and your cost, that it will just eat up your profit margin, because ultimately you want to be able to know what goods looks like, and for you to kind of run your Google Ads and your paid advertising campaign effectively, and to also design a good Shopify or e-commerce store, you need to know enough. You don't have to be a marketing expert, but there are free resources online that you can look for. You can even go on YouTube to learn about Google Ads, conversion optimization. But mind you, sometimes all those best practices are not really tailored for certain industries, and they're just generic recommendations. So yeah.
So how can one keep the e-commerce marketing team agile in the decision making? Because obviously you have an in-house team or a couple of people. You're also working with agencies doing different bits of work for different aspects.
Yeah, one thing I would recommend, and I've seen, is you have situations where, as an e-commerce store owner, you go and hire a paid search agency, and then you go and hire another SEO agency, and then you go and hire another conversion optimization or UX agency. That, from a way of working perspective, is a recipe for disaster, because one of those agencies would not be able to deliver what you expect, and it's going to affect every one of them. So what I recommend to clients, and what most big organizations do, is to have one agency do everything. Even if they don't have that skill in that agency, you want that agency to be the one managing that, so they can then outsource that to another agency. But everything would then be a bit united, rather than having agencies fighting with each other. I've had experience where I was hired by a small organization out in the United States, and he had another agency working for him before he hired me, and it was just like cat and mouse. You really don't want that, because rather than focusing on getting you results, they'll be bickering and fighting each other over who's going to win the other person's business, and you don't want that. Yeah.
One of the hot topics at the moment is artificial intelligence. So how do you see the role of AI in an e-commerce team? Is it relevant? Is it not?
AI is an interesting topic, because people like myself are biased about it. I don't want to be replaced by AI, but ultimately, you can use AI in certain instances. I don't know enough about AI to be dangerous, but what I do know is some things you cannot replace with AI, because when you're trying to communicate to people, there's that human element that no matter the AI, it's never gonna be 100% accurate, because human beings, each customer segment, they're unique. They have unique behaviors, unique personalities. They have unique reasons to buy your product and service. And to assume that AI will solve all those problems might be wishful thinking. I think AI has not advanced to that stage where we expect it to be able to do everything. But you can have automation tools like in email marketing, not necessarily AI, but they can automate sequence of emails. They can automate different stages of the funnel, so they can help you reduce the manual work that you do. It's not AI, but it's automated. For example, when people land on your e-commerce shop and they start adding stuff to the basket and they don't convert, you can have email strategy set up that would bring them back. In some instances, you can use retargeting through paid advertising to do that, but in my experience and opinion, a more effective way is to use email strategy and email campaigns, the sequence of emails to bring them back, or SMS campaigns as well.
And we'll finish off with some of your top tips. What are your top tips for e-commerce marketing team structure?
For me, the top tip for e-commerce is, when you're creating your e-commerce budget, try as much as you can not to look at your competition's budget. It's not the smartest moves. You see situations where people like, oh, how much is our competitor spending? We're going to match that, or we're going to outspend them. That's not a good thing. You need to focus on your profit margins, not revenue, your profit margins, and ignore what your competition is spending. And another mistake that I've seen is, because in SEO, you always want to be number one because you get more traffic. That doesn't apply to Google Ads and paid advertising. Being number one in paid ads is not necessarily what you want. So you also need to understand that you're not going to get instant results with Google Ads. You need to be able to let the campaign run for a decent number of time or months to be able to get enough information. And you also need to understand that using Google Ads to get traffic does not guarantee conversion. What guarantees conversion is making sure that you do good UX on your e-commerce shop, making sure that you do conversion rate optimization, making sure you have good quality content. And when I say content, I mean text, image, and video. Those three content pillars, making sure they're well optimized, making sure that you also have different channels that are less expensive, like micro influencer marketing, all those kind of avenues to bring traffic to you. So make sure that you also understand how much it costs to actually get one customer, a profitable customer, and don't always put a cap on your budget. I know that sounds crazy, but if you have set up your store in a way where it's guaranteed to get you profit, then as long as if you increase your Google Ad spend because you've optimized your conversion, optimized your email sequence and everything, you can increase your marketing budget and you can get all the results and all the profits that you need, and then you can then expand further. So you also need to be careful with seasonalities and things like that. Just be mindful and keep a close eye on your data. That's what I would recommend. And if you e-commerce store owner, you're looking to build out an e-commerce marketing team, reach out to me. I will be happy to help you with interviewing and hiring or building out your team. Or in the interim, with my agency, we can work with you to kind of be your marketing, your your marketing team. Although it's not an in-house team, but we can provide all the services that you need at a reasonable amount that doesn't affect your profit margin, and you can then slowly build out. So we offer Google Ads, conversion rate optimization, UX, as well as email marketing services, the full funnel that you need. So yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn and reach out to me. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you.